This is the Tigers POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Detroit Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, it might not have gone the way you thought, but another Detroit Tigers victory. The first team to 50 wins. That sounds good saying that aloud. Welcome into a live Locked On Tigers postcast. I am your host, Jake Riepma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Riepma, and this is the Locked On Tigers postcast. It's your post-game destination for all things Detroit Tigers, and it's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. We got a lot to cover in this one after an 11-4 win for the Detroit Tigers in the series opener against the Athletics. Skubal had an off night. Count me as surprised. I did not see that coming, but the offense picks him up. Incredible defense, in particular from Wenceel Perez. We'll go over that. All of my talking point, our turning point, and as always, our player of the game. So lots to go over. Buckle up, dial it in, and as always, fire up that comment box because I want to hear from you as well. Were you as surprised as I was to see a couple of early home runs surrendered by Tarik Skubal? I mean, I didn't know what to make of it. That never happens. I mean, check his temperature. I know there was a little bit of a rain delay, and that can sometimes get you out of your rhythm. But even though, and this is just, it goes to show the standard that Tarik Skubal has set. He's the best pitcher in the game, bar none. Don't even bring anybody else to the table with the debate on that. The reigning Cy Young winner, and so much that he means to this Tigers team that when he gives up a couple home runs like that, even though the Tigers, hey, there's a lot to talk about after this one. They're the first team to 50 wins. They've got the best record in all of baseball. I still can't get the thought of Tarik Skubal not being absolutely dominant out of my head. So we begin with our major talking point.
This is what you'll be talking about.
And I make the Tarik Skubal conversation the major talking point because I want to squash any scuttlebutt or whatever it is. And I'm not even suggesting anyone has this feeling immediately following an 11-4 win over the Athletics. But the guy had an off night and he was fine. He still finds a way, even without his best stuff, to put forth a winning effort and earn the win on the evening. He's 8-2 on the season, 6 innings, the 6 hits, the 4 earned runs. It's all wild to see. Still had the 8 strikeouts and just the 1 walk, but he would be the first to tell you that he didn't have his A-plus stuff, and that happens from time to time. But anybody that wants to use this start as a reason, oh, you can't pay him, see, you got to trade him, I just miss me with all of that. So I am and still will be the biggest Tarik Skubal fan. And listen, understand off nights happen. But other talking points I want to get to, Wenceel Perez. I mean, the game of his life defensively, that 7th inning with back-to-back outfield assists. Rarely do you see that in any game, especially at the major league level. I mean, the way he played both of those balls perfectly off of the wall and delivered a strike to second base to retire not 1, but 2 Athletics in that inning. Just incredible stuff. And the way he's made the transition from infield to outfield and not only been a serviceable outfielder for the Tigers, but really showing his defensive prowess. And tonight was at the top of that list. And I think very fitting that the game ended with a nice sliding catch in right field. Wenceel Perez playing just a whale of a game today. And now how about the offense? I mean, we got to get to that. Kerry Carpenter gets it started with the 2-run bomb on a 3-0 count. Good to see him build that confidence and get back in the home run column because his struggles as of late have been well documented. So hopefully this is what he needs to get over that hump or get out of that funk, probably a better way to say it. But you got the home run from Kerry Carpenter to tie the game at 2, because again, Rooker hit that home run in the top of the first to make it 2-0 A's. And again, it was Denzel Clark hitting a home run in the top of the second. And on a night where, you know, Skubal gives up the 1 home run, you think, all right, he'll snap out of it, he'll be fine. Gives up a second, you're down 4-2, but not to fear. What an inning for the Tigers in the bottom of that 3rd inning. Wenceel Perez with the 2 RBI double, and then Dillon Dingler smashing one to left for the 3-run homer. And for Dillon Dingler, he continues to be a bright spot for this Tigers team. We've talked at length about how he's taken the job from Jake Rogers, and that's no disrespect to Jake Rogers. It's just Dillon Dingler has been that good. It's his 8th home run of the season. For Carpenter, it was his 14th home run. So, and then the Tigers bats just continue to pour it on, and you get 2 more in the 7th with the Zach McKinstry 2 RBI single, even though the A's had played that into 2 runs scored there. And then Riley Greene with the exclamation point with 2 more in the A's. So the bats come up big, and it's a game where, hey, this Tigers team finds different ways to win. And going into it, you would expect, all right, Tarik Skubal on the bump, nice low-scoring victory. But it was a different type of game, and that's what good teams do. They find a way to win. Let's get into some of your comments. There's a lot of them to get to, because I might have missed something, and that's where you all come in, and I greatly appreciate that. And I think I mentioned it, but first team to 50 wins, DT Lions reminds us, that's right, it's your Detroit Tigers, Braylon Dennis, Fitty Burger. And look, the season's not quite halfway over. It's about to be at the halfway mark. I know we all think All-Star game, All-Star break, that's the halfway mark, but technically by number of games, it's coming right up, because I believe the Tigers 50-30. So one more game and they'll be at the halfway mark. And for those of us that struggle in math like I do, easy to say, if you've got 50 wins at the halfway point, you're on pace for 100. So how about that, sports fans? All right, Gray Matter, Wenceel Perez had an excellent 7th inning, helping Chase Lee get out of a tricky inning. Doesn't look like a guy with a minus 0.3 defensive WAR rating. Yeah, the Tigers are big on defensive run saves. That's for sure. Rufus T. Cat says, Wenceel continues to be my favorite Tiger in 2025. And he adds, it's hilarious. Anyone that says that's an off night, whatever, probably referring to Skubal. Look, for Skubal, it is an off night. I mean, 6 innings allowing 4 runs. You're not going to see, you go back over all of his starts, maybe the first one against the Dodgers. I don't remember exactly how many he gave up there, but it's an off night for Skubal. That just shows how good he is. Funny comment here from YouTube user. I thought the second throw by Perez was a replay for a few moments. It was almost identical. I mean, a little bit different in how he played it off the wall, sure. But if you're just kind of glancing up and you say, oh yeah, there's another, because when does that happen in the same inning, right? Kind of crazy. Okay. Gary Myers pointing out Riley Greene is still on fire his last 7 games. Drum, appreciate you pulling up these stats. This is from Drum at the plate, 536, 548, and 1,000 on the slash there. So good stuff. Owen Oliver, Wenceel Perez emerging as a stud, only 22 games, but his success has been pretty consistent across that stretch. Indeed, it has. And he was that spark plug, that energizer bunny for the Tigers last year. And that just goes to show what he can do as far as impacting a team. And the Tigers missed him when he was out at the beginning portion of the season. Jim and Denise, interesting comment. The A's are no strangers to knocking Skubal around. His last 3 games against them have been a little bit rough, but that's what a good offense and great defense is for, to help straighten him out. And even though on a night where he was off, he still gets his 8th win of the season. And again, chalk that up on things you love to see. But great for the Tigers to get a win to start this one off and go for a series win tomorrow. We'll preview that game. We'll continue to break this one down. I'll have our turning point and our player of the game. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. Hey, this episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by Rougiette. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to get Rougiette Ready. Rougiette Ready is next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Arousal. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rougiette's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. Now, listen, if traditional options haven't worked, Rougiette might be the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch. Head to Rougiette.com/LockedOnMLB and use code LockedOnMLB to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnMLB and use promo code LockedOnMLB for 15% off. Individual results may vary with the prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rougiette website for full safety information. This episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is also brought to you by Monarch Money. If you've ever wished managing your money felt easier, well, with Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. And you know what? I love the takeout subscriptions. Taking out subscriptions is a great way to save some money, and it adds up faster than you might expect. And you know what? I love setting financial goals that you can get serious about with Monarch Money. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LockedOnMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LockedOnMLB for half off your first year. Monarchmoney.com, LockedOnMLB for half off your first year. It's a Locked On Tigers postcast, and we're keeping the lights on here on the Locked On Tigers postcast. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're getting close to 7,000 subscribers, and we got the best team in baseball. We ought to have the best channel in baseball. Come on, people. Tell your friends. It's not that hard. Make sure you check out Locked On Tigers with Scott Bentley as well. Let's get into it. It's our turning point right here on a live Locked On Tigers postcast.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
You guys know my turning point anytime Tarik Skubal pitches is always, the cliche, when Tarik took the mound, that's when the game turned. But in this one, it was the offense turning the game around after a 4-2 hole early on. The offense stringing together a nice 5-run inning in that third inning. The bottom half of the third inning proved to be the turning point. But I'm also going to add a little caveat that Wenceel Perez throwing not one but 2 runners out on second base before the game was fully in the balance there in the 7th inning was a big deal, because you look in the top of the 7th, it's still a 5-4 game, and the Tigers do a tremendous job of getting out of that inning thanks to Wenceel Perez, and score 2 runs in the bottom half of the 7th, 2 more in the bottom half of the 8th to really blow this one open. And I'm sorry, it was a 7-4 game at that point. That's my bad, but you understand. It was the game was still hanging in the balance when Wenceel Perez made those plays. So I'm going to add that in addition to the offense making play. Let's get to our player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
One here, but the combination of the dazzling plays in the field and impressive throwing arm, as well as the 2 RBI, it's got to go to Wenceel Perez. He had 2 hits in this game, scored 2 runs, and I've mentioned at length the impressive defensive plays that he made as well. So got to give it up for Wenceel Perez as our Locked On Tigers postcast player of the game. Tremendous stuff right there. Tigers and A's back at it tomorrow. And listen, The Athletics are a team that you want to stockpile some wins against. There's no doubt about that. They're 32-49 on the season. Jack Flaherty will go tomorrow. Hopefully that game starts right on time at 6:40 without any kind of rain delay. It'll be nice to see Flaherty bounce back after the really rough outing his last time out. He's 5-8 with a 4.83 ERA. 93 strikeouts. Jacob Lopez goes for the Athletics. First pitch, 6:40 from Comerica Park. That's going to do it for me. Thanks as always for tuning in. Hopefully we read every comment that we could on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. And I want to add in one more comment here from Mike Doyle, because I agree. Is Skubal worth $425 million? I think so. I would agree with that as well. One more from Braylon Dennis, players of the game, Wenceel Perez or Riley Greene. Yes, I want to give Riley Greene some love because he too had a big game with 2 RBI. He had 4 hits. He just continues to mash. And if you haven't yet, make sure you vote for all the Tigers to represent Detroit in the All-Star game at Truist Park in Atlanta. Looking forward to that little All-Star game action. You gotta love when the Tigers are well represented, and they deserve to be. I believe Gleyber Torres was winning the voting at second base, Riley Greene, and you gotta believe Tarik Skubal is going to be the starter as well. There's a lot of worthy Detroit Tiger all-stars, so make sure you go ahead and vote for them as well. Thanks as always for tuning in. Make sure you check out Locked On Tigers with Scott Bentley. And how about another victory for the Detroit Tigers? They're the first team to 50 wins. That sounds good saying that. And we'll be back tomorrow night for a live Locked On Tigers postcast. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your night. Make sure you like and subscribe. See you next time. Tell a friend about the Locked On Tigers postcast, your post-game destination, free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. See you tomorrow.